Well, welcome back. You're still watching Politics Today on Channels Television. Of course, we've been talking about the issues relating to the 2015 election. And of course, Governor Rotimi Amaechi of Rivers State and the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization just talks to us. But now, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode joins us, former Minister of Aviation and the Director of Media, Jonathan Sambo Campaign Organization. Thank you for being on the program.
Good evening. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Perhaps incidentally, I asked Mr. Rotimi Amaechi about the accusation of their party planning to rig at a press conference which you addressed, and you heard him, what he said about your credibility.
Well, first of all, let me just start by saying that I don't believe that I'm on the same intellectual or social plane or level as somebody like Rotimi Amaechi. If he ever went to school, I don't know which school he went to. I do not see that he has any kind of intellectual substance. Socially, I knew him when he was wearing the same clothes every day for 3 months in 1989 when I was National Youth Leader of the NNC. And I'm glad that he had the opportunity to become governor in this country. Perhaps it's only in Nigeria that a man with his background, the sort of things he did when he was young, the sort of things he did when he was university, could ever become a governor. And by the way, he became a governor without even winning an election. That's a man that talks about credibility. This is a man that claimed that pastors in this country were given 6 billion naira by the government to vote for PDP. This is a man that went as far as to say that if the APC lost an election, that he would form a parallel government. This is a man that incited soldiers to mutiny. This is a man that told the whole world that as far as he was concerned, he was prepared to do anything to become the presidential candidate of the APC. He betrayed his own people simply because he wanted to become the vice presidential candidate of the APC, and he failed woefully. When I was in the APC and in the darker realms, he found me very credible at the time when I opposed the government, and he commended me on many occasions. Not only that, his presidential candidate offered me a position, a key position in his presidential campaign organization if and when he won the election, if and when he won the nomination. And I told him, I can never support you, General Buhari. Now the same Rotimi Amaechi will come and talk about credibility from a man that closed the courts in his state for 1 year simply because he was too scared that people would end up throwing him out and take him to court. He closed the state.
He said the federal government actually closed the courts.
The state's courts were closed by him, not the federal. He has control over the state courts. We're not talking about the federal courts. We're talking about the state courts. People are in prison today. They can't go to trial. They can't do anything. People cannot carry out civil litigations. Lawyers can't work because this man wants to stay in power at all costs. This is the only governor in the country that has as his own commissioner his psychiatrist, simply because, I don't know, maybe somehow he manifests during cabinet meetings and he's scared that he may go overboard. So his own psychiatrist, or somebody that used to be a psychiatrist, is his commissioner, and he talks about credibility. Look, listen, the problem he has and people like him have in the APC is this, that Femi Fani-Kayode is their greatest nightmare. You know why? I know them. I was with them for 9 miserable months, and I know what they're made of. And I'm telling you, they are not fit to rule this country. The most decent person in the PDP, apart from people like Amaechi, are those that were in the PDP before. I wish they would come back and see the light, like so many of us have done. But listen, as far as I'm concerned, people like Amaechi are not fit to rule this country, and people like Amaechi are not going to be allowed to rule this country.
That's a sitting governor you're talking about.
It doesn't matter to me whether, as long as it's not God I'm talking about, I reserve the right to respond to any individual, as long as he's born of a woman, that goes as far as to cast aspersions on my person or my character, or even my party, or even anything that I believe in. This is a contest. Let's go to the field. Instead of boasting and talking and saying, I'm a governor, I won't answer a question, answer the next question. That question you put to him, it need not have been put by me. Or that assertion may need not have been put by me. If it had been put by you, if you haven't mentioned my name, let's see if he would have answered the question. He couldn't answer it because he has no answer. That is their plan. That is what they've been planning for months. That is what they've been planning for years. They are so desperate for power. They are so irresponsible. And if he is a sitting governor, then I feel sorry for Nigeria. A governor that was never elected, by the way. He got in through the Supreme Court.
Mr. Fani-Kayode,
by the way, you should also ask him, just one more quick one. You should also ask him why it was that he betrayed his mentor, a man whose home he lived in. He lived in the man's boys' quarter. That's Dr. Odi. That's when I first knew Amaechi, wearing the same clothes every day for months. And he betrayed that man, cast him aside, and betrayed so many other people, betrayed his own people in River State, simply because he wants to be vice president. And he never ever got the nomination. Shibacho got it instead, and now he's crying over Spillman. He looks so miserable. So I feel sorry for him, honestly.
Because that's a leader of a state here. Let's quickly go.
I feel sorry for states and his people.
You said that the APC is planning or plans
Yes.
to rig this election. What information do you have?
Listen, it's habitual with them. They are desperate. They have said it over and over again. Their leader, their presidential candidate, said that if it is that he doesn't win the election in 2015, that this time around, that the baboon and the dog will both be soaked in blood.
But the man has actually said he did not say that.
No,
but
that is a matter of public record, Sheon. Let's be fair, let's be factual. He can apologize and say he didn't mean it, but that's what he said. It's on record. Now, he has to live with that. People like him have to live with the words that they have said in the past. We've all made mistakes. It doesn't take anything from anybody by just admitting you made a mistake. These people want to take power at all costs. Buhari himself, when he was asked just a few days ago, if you lose the election, what will happen? He said that will never happen, and if it happens, we will see what will happen after that. It is threat after threat, violence after violence. These are people that when our candidate was campaigning in Bauchi, in Yola, that's Adamawa, in Katsina, and a number of other places, his supporters, whilst chanting Sai Buhari and waving the silly brooms that they have, were throwing stones at our president. Injured 6 of our security operatives who had to be hospitalized. These people are desperate for power. They have brought religion into politics. They have brought ethnicity into politics, division, strife, and so on and so forth. And all they do is sit there and pass judgment on other people morning, day, and night. The question you need to put to Amaechi, Buhari, Tinubu, and every single one of them is, what do they have to offer this country? What are their programs? What are their this? What are their that? If we're to judge them from the past, I can tell you this right now. The first thing that you need to ask Buhari and Amaechi and all of them is this. How come it is that the APC presidential candidate was nominated by Boko Haram, an organization that has killed over 35,000 Nigerians in the last 3 years? They nominated him 2 years ago to be their spokesman and negotiator during a proposed peace talks with the government. How could you accept such a man to be your presidential candidate? Again, they should ask the APC, people like Amaechi, Lai Mohammed, Buhari, and all the rest, how come it is that, that when Boko Haram was proscribed by this government last year, they got up and said that it was unjust and unconstitutional. These are the questions we need to ask these people. And Amaechi should come and answer those questions as DG of his campaign organization, rather than tell you which questions he wants to answer on.
Yeah, because, I mean, one of the issues raised by him, perhaps you want to answer is the fact that you were formerly of the APC. I mean, of course, you said at that time that you criticized the government. Yes. Of course, you've been on the program when you were in the APC, and now it's be surprising, or some people will find it strange now that you're in the PDP.
Why would it surprise? Well,
that perhaps you've changed your ideology.
No, not an ideology. What it is this. First of all, let me put this to you. Why on earth is it strange? Amaechi himself was in PDP before. He's in APC now. He was elsewhere before then. Before he went to PDP, he went elsewhere. He's now in APC. Tinubu, the same thing. Buhari himself, the same thing. El Rufai, the same thing. Ribadu, the same thing. It is only Femi Fani-Kayode that it becomes an issue when he changes party. And thankfully, Femi Fani-Kayode is different to people like Amaechi, because when I saw the monster and the darkness and the evil that I saw in the APC, I said, well, may God forgive me. And I went back to my family, and I'm very happy to be there, and I'm happy to be playing a key role, having seen the light. So as far as I'm concerned, every politician in this country has to live with his choices and his own. Don't question my convictions. I have never questioned the convictions of Buhari as an individual in terms of his choices. Neither Tinubu's, neither anybody else. Certainly not my good friend Nasir El-Rufai, who is intellectually far more virile than people like Amaechi and others. But I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right for them to question mine either.
Mr. Fani-Kayode, let's quickly go into some other issues relating to the contest that we have on our hands. It's few weeks rather to this election, and a lot of people are saying at a point in time very critical in these campaigns, we saw a very key member of your party, a former president who was president of your party for 8 years, and you worked with him, you were a minister in his cabinet, he left your party. What mark do you think this will have on your party?
Well, first of all, President Obasanjo is a father to me, he's a father to the president, he's a father to to virtually all of us in this country, and I have immense respect for him and affection, and I always will, regardless of whatever his political affiliation may be. If he made his choice, I will not cast aspersions on that choice. I disagree with that choice. I believe he should have stayed with us. I believe that, you know, it would have been better for him to stand firm and to help to ensure that the house that he built stands strong and goes from strength to strength. But he, for reasons best known to himself, made his choice and he decided to pull out. He didn't go to any other party. He decided to pull out, and that's fair enough. It's his choice and he's entitled to it. But I'll tell you this much. He has taught those of us that were taught, you know, that were his disciples or that are his disciples enough for us to pick up the baton and to stand firm and to run the race and to win that race. And that's what we're trying to do now.
Were you disappointed in that decision by former President Obasanjo?
Look, whenever a father decides that he's so upset with his children that he's going to hands off, of course it's upsetting. It's upsetting not just to me. I'm sure there are many people
and perhaps disappointing
across party lines that it's very upsetting. But at the same time, I have to respect his choice. What is important to me as somebody that's playing a key role in this presidential campaign, and my job is to ensure that President Goodluck Jonathan is returned to power. My vision right now, my focus right now is to ensure that we achieve our objectives. After we have defeated Buhari and those that support Buhari, we will now go back to President Obasanjo and appeal to him and beg him to come and join us again and to give us the counsel and advice that I believe we so badly.
Your party still needs President Obasanjo?
We are going to win this election with or without President Obasanjo. After we have won the election, those of us that are his disciples, of course, we have to go back to him and beg our father that, look, whatever it is we've done wrong, come and join us again.
Why do you think
I didn't say we needed him to win the election. What I said was that we will accord full respect to him and we will always yearn for him. I'm not one of those that will run down Obasanjo. I will say this, however. When the party card was torn by President Obasanjo and his associates on television screens, it had a profound effect on many of us. There are many people within the ranks of the PDP today, elders and followers, that are very, very upset with that single act, because that is an act against the party, not against the president, not against any individual, not against me, but against the party. And it's something that some of them may never forgive him for. I have a forgiving heart, and I will, of course, always forgive him for that. But you know, maybe not everybody else would share that particular sentiment. The truth of the matter is we have a lot of work to do. We need to win an election. We need to look at facts and figures. We need to move this country forward. And we need to ensure that the demons in APC do not take power. After we have finished cutting the head of the snake off and winning this election and ensuring that the Nigerian people are going to move forward in a secular, decent, civilized country, not one that's taking us back. After we've done all that, then we will go back and fix the problems, the internal problems that we had, the family problems. And I certainly, I mean, I can't speak for other people, I would certainly do my very best to ensure that our father reconciles with us.